third month. Welcome back to my channel, guys. My name is Amit, and in today's video I'm going to be talking to you about my third month updates of the hair transplant that I got in Turkey. Now, if you're new to my channel and wondering what the hell I'm talking about, I basically got a hair transplant back in Turkey a couple months ago, documenting my entire experience from start to finish with a bunch of videos, usual monthly updates, and any tips that it could be useful for you if you are considering getting a hair transplant in Turkey, or even after the fact if you've already gotten one and are looking for tips on how to take care of your head and scalp after a transplant. Now, to give you a little more information, I went to Vera Clinic in Turkey. My very first video on this channel is basically talking about the experience that I've had with them for my hair transplant. If you're curious to know what I had to say about them or considering to get a hair transplant from them, you should definitely watch that video and hear my honest thoughts about them. Ultimately, I think they are still a great clinic to go to, but of course, just do your own research and make sure you know exactly who you're trying to get your hair transplant from. As long as you're comfortable with them, then you should go for it. All right, enough of me rambling about. I'm sure everyone wants to see what's going on under this hat, and so let's do the reveal. Now, as you can see, my hair is actually growing back pretty nicely. Before I had a hair transplant, I had a very high receding hairline and I had nothing at the back of my head. My crown was empty and I had very little hair in my mid-scalp. So when I went to Vera Clinic, they did mostly a restoration of my entire hairline and the mid-scalp. They couldn't complete the crown because I didn't have enough grafts to extract at that point in time. And that's kind of why I might have to go back for a second hair transplant. But for now, with what I've done, you can see that the hairline is back as well as the mid-scalp. It's kind of growing out pretty nicely. More or less, I think the third month is kind of really the defining month of getting everything in order and making sure you're using your aftercare right. Because from what I hear, the fourth month onwards is really where you'll start seeing more excessive growth on the transplanted areas, which obviously I'm very excited about, but I still have to get through another month of this. So far, so good. It's growing at the pace that I believe it should be growing, and I haven't really experienced too many problems so far. One interesting thing is that as this is my third month, I got an email from the clinic. They were nice enough to ask me for an update of how I'm looking right now as well. That's another thing I wanted to mention, that the clinic, Vera Clinic, which is why I do appreciate them more than anything else, that they still do check up on you constantly as the months go by. So you're not completely left alone if that's what you're thinking after a hair transplant, because I feel like a lot of people do think that when they go back to their home country after a transplant in Turkey, they're worried, especially if something goes wrong or if you have no support from any of the doctors that you had previously been interacting with. I don't think that's the entirety of the case, because they do reach out, they do help, and if you have any questions, all you need to do is just message or email them and they will easily respond to you. So quick update on my donor area. As you can see, I've been growing it out quite a bit, only because I wanted to see how long and how thick my donor area can actually grow out. This is mainly to see if I can be eligible for more grafts to be extracted if and when I decide to do a second hair transplant to cover up my crown. Based off of the last 3 months, it seems to have been growing pretty well. I do have some close-ups of it, which I'll probably be showing in a bit. The donor area does seem like it has kind of gotten back to its original state of even before I had a hair transplant. So I feel like it's moving the right direction. I also do think I'm not going to grow this out anymore and probably start getting a haircut. All right, now I'm going to show you guys all angles of my hair currently and how it's been looking for the past month. As you can see here, as I mentioned earlier, the donor area looks like it's growing back pretty well on the sides here, followed by the back. As you can also see, the crown area is still not complete, which is probably why I need to go for a second transplant. As you can see from the other side, the donor area again is really looking pretty good and healthy, and it's very similar to how it used to look before my transplant. I was told previously in one of the comments that I did not show any close-up angles and this video was pointless, but I'm gonna rectify that right now. I do listen to the comments, of course. Your feedback is valuable, so I am going to show you a bunch of close-ups now. As you can see at the top where the grafts were transplanted, they seem to be growing out pretty okay. Not much to see right now, but hopefully in the next coming months we'll see some great progress together and get some more coverage on the top. I'm going to show a couple of stills of before and after of my current situation versus before I got my hair transplant. These are basically the photos that I sent in when I wanted to get my hair transplant. So you guys can see the differences of the donor area. There's not that much right now. I did also want to show images of the monthly progress from from the first month of the hair transplant that I got, followed by the second and the third. You can see here the progress of my hair is growing back pretty nicely. This also could just be my native hair, but I don't believe I had that much native hair. Could just be me. But I think that overall what this shows is that there is progress happening. I'm more than excited to see how much more progress this will keep entailing. I can't wait for the next few months. You would think, as someone who's losing hair, you want your hair to grow out, but on the sides, my god, it's just so, it's annoying. It's very annoying, yeah. You know, as us who are trying to grow our hair back out, we don't realize how difficult it's going to be to upkeep the hair. Back when we were losing hair, it was just like, whatever, we will cover it up and move on. But now we actually have to take care of our hairs. So a little tip for those who are gonna have long, luscious, beautiful hair in the future. Okay, so a few things that I do want to mention over the past few weeks that has been happening. The first most important thing is that there has been a lot of itching going on. It's very difficult to not scratch your head. I find myself constantly just, you know, walking around the house and just having to happen to touch my head or scratch it a little bit. And of course, I try to make sure I cut my nails to avoid any scratching out of grafts or anything like that, or scratching out hair. But it is definitely very difficult. It'd be the most common situations. An example would be like I would be sitting and doing work, and out of nowhere I have this urge to itch my head. I would be having a drink of water and there you go, scratching my head. I sit down, try to relax and watch some TV. Nope, you're right, I'd scratch my head. These things keep happening unknowingly too, so it's something that you should be aware of if you are experiencing the same thing as me. The best way to do it is to just rub the area rather than actually scratch it, to avoid anything coming out off the top of your scalp. Another major thing that I've noticed are more pimples on my head now. I think on my second month I had one or two very small ones, which I thought that was the gist of it, but this past month more and more pimples have slightly popped up. It's not excessive, it's maybe one or two more, but they're definitely bigger than the previous ones. I had to zoom in the other day just to see what exactly I was looking at, but you can see how big these pimples get. Of course, I have done enough research to know that pimples are a good thing, because that means that the hair is trying to grow out under the skin, which is causing a little ingrown happening, which is why pimples start forming on your scalp. But it's nothing to worry about. I'm trying not to touch it as much as I clearly have, but I just make sure my head and scalp are both clean as much as I can throughout the day, and I avoid any touching wherever possible. Although one scary thing did happen during this time where I kept touching and scratching. I accidentally scratched out a big chunk of my grafts.
My god! Okay, it's happening! Everybody stay calm! What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure? Stay calm!
Again, I didn't know what to do, because when I saw it, I was kind of freaking out. I was like, oh my god, that's a big one. But again, I also realized that these are the old grafts that were initially planted in. Once the grafts that are extracted from your donor area onto your head, those grafts are planted in, but they shed shortly after. But because these particular hairs were stuck in one of the pimples that I had, and I scratched it off a little bit, those old grafts have fallen out. So I don't feel that I've lost the new grafts that are growing, but these are the old grafts that were supposed to be shedded off earlier. So hopefully these things don't happen too often, but it definitely gave me a fright. But after speaking to the consultant, they told me that it's nothing to worry about. And speaking of shedding, I barely have any shedding now. Maybe like one or two random strands I would see fall off, but really it's not that much. I think the worst of the shedding phase is kind of over, and now all I have to do is just maintain what I have now. I kind of feel most of my native hairs are kind of growing back out slowly, and I feel like hopefully nothing else will be shedding. This is also in line with the updates of me taking Finasteride. I have been taking it now for about 2 to 3 months, I believe, and it's been pretty good. I have not experienced as much shedding as I thought I used to. I remember when I used to have my full head of hair, I would shed pretty often, and I've been taking Finasteride ever since then. I have not had much of a problem lately, so I feel, you know, it's been helping me. I've never had any of the side effects that people have claimed to have, but I'm thankful for that, touch wood. It's a good sign that these things are working, as well as all the aftercare routine that I've been doing. I've mentioned in my other videos, I've been taking all the vitamins, I've been using the GF Serum, I've been using the shampoo, and taking the essentials that needs to be taken for good, healthy recovery for your hair transplant. And I do have a video on all of these aftercare products that I've used. I'll link it in the description below, so be sure to check that out if you have the time. I am going to try to get a haircut very soon, because I feel like 3 months now is I'm really pushing the envelope with this hair growth. But I do want to get a nice little fade and maybe a trim on the side. sides just to kind of level up my hair now. I will try my best to video all of that for you guys as well, and try to even talk to some of the barbers and ask them what they would recommend from somebody who has had a hair transplant and how they should get their haircuts. So I'll try to make a fun little video for that. Also, I did want to mention that 3 months have gone by. As you can see, my hair is kind of slowly returning back to how it used to be, at least. However, when it comes to going out, I wanted to kind of give some tips in regards to what I've been doing, and hopefully maybe you guys can be doing it as well. Obviously, I've been wearing hats almost every time I go out. It's pretty funny how I can openly be without a hat here on YouTube in front of everybody on the internet, but when I go out in person, I still like to wear a hat because I don't really want to show everybody what's going on underneath it. It's kind of giving me more opportunity to try different things and try different types of fashion styles with hats. As you can see in some of these photos of me recently going out, I've just tried to be a little adventurous and try getting different types of looks and feels on how I want to look. And I would also highly recommend whoever is going through what I'm going through, after a couple months, don't be shy. Try to experiment. Maybe a hat look good on you. Maybe it's something you've always wanted to do but never had an opportunity to try it. This is the perfect opportunity to try it, guys.
Like you could find something as sophisticated as this.
So definitely do consider all your options. Try different things. Enjoy the time that is now. Don't be worried about how you look, or don't be worried about what anyone's saying. It's all about you and your hair and your recovery. It's your journey. So just make sure you guys are enjoying it as much as possible. All right, I think that will wrap up my little update. Thank you for coming to that last bit of the TED Talk that I wanted to give you guys some encouragement. In any case, I do hope you guys enjoy all of these videos. Also, if there is anything you guys want to ask me or reach out to me, please do not hesitate to leave a comment below. I'm very happy to respond to all of them. I really appreciate all the support you guys have given me, to be honest, especially the regulars who have constantly been commenting. I see you, I hear you, I appreciate all of you. It was wonderful to have a small community that, you know, we can talk to, as well as those who are actively telling me that they're about to go get a hair transplant from Vera Clinic too. So it is really great that you guys are reaching out to me. Keep updating me along the way of your journeys, and yeah, we can just keep on at it. And for anyone who's new here, do consider liking and subscribing if you already haven't, and following along to hopefully see me with a full head of hair in a couple months. I'm excited. Are you excited? Yeah, because I'm excited. Okay, we're both excited. Fantastic. I'm talking to myself. Yeah. Thank you so much for all your support, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.